My mom always said the person she loved the most in this life was my brother. At home, he was always jealous of the dog, of the couch, of anyone who even looked at our mom wrong. The result? Our house was a daily circus. I often had to warn my mom, don't cling to him like that. He's married now. He deserves some privacy. It's really not appropriate for you to sleep between him and his wife every night. But she never cared. I told my dad what was going on, how her love for my brother had crossed the line, but he never believed me. That is, until I gathered enough evidence to prove it wasn't just maternal affection anymore. Instead of thanking me, my father invited me to a secluded mountaintop. When I arrived, the whole family was there, cornering me near a cliff. You just had to meddle, didn't you? Now go to hell. My father stood proudly behind them and laughed. The life insurance finally pays off. Hi, I'm Tina. If you're scrolling through and found another one of my insane family stories, congrats. You've struck narrative gold. Follow me. Your hair will grow thicker and fluffier. Let's dive in. Finally, I could rest in peace. In my next life, I swore I'd be reborn into a better family. One where I didn't have to care so damn much. Stop calling her Tina like she's your blood, I overheard someone say in my final moments. She's not even related to you. My sister's useless kid died. Who cares? Now I'm stuck with this burden. I stared into my mother's eyes. There was a gleam of cruelty I'd never seen before. Beside her stood Dee, my brother's wife, grinning. Finally, we can move into a bigger house. No more sharing with your old hag of a mom. So that was it. I wasn't even part of this family. No wonder I'd always been treated like dirt. All those years trying to keep the peace, it was pointless. Everything went black. When I opened my eyes again, I had been reborn. It was the day my brother and Dee were taking their wedding photos. Sweetheart, look at this dress. Don't you think it's stunning? Mom, no, Linda, gushed over a rack of wedding gowns. She cradled one of Dee's discarded dresses like it was spun from gold. In my past life, when I first realized she wanted to take wedding photos with my brother, I had a massive fight with her. But in the end, she forced him to do it. They took a whole photo series together, like a couple. This time, I played smart. If I couldn't stop it, I'd lean in. Mom, that gown is perfect on you. You've got the figure, the taste. Why not give it a try? She blushed coyly. That's not right. It's your brother's wedding after all. Yet her fingers itched to touch the fabric. She was ready to strip down right then and there. My brother Nick overheard us and looked furious. But then he walked over, took her hand like a child begging for candy, and said, "Come on, Mom, just try it on. Tina won't mind. Right, honey?" He smiled stupidly. His wife watched in stunned silence as her husband flirted with his mother. She looked to me, desperate for help. I looked away. Weren't they the perfect little trio last time? Enjoy it while it lasts. Nick handed Mom a white mermaid cut gown. This one's perfect. It really shows off your curves. He leered openly at her body. The strapless dress barely held her in. Her breasts were practically spilling out. This is disgusting, Dee whispered. What's disgusting about it? Mom shot back. Not my fault you've got nothing up top. She puffed out her chest and turned to Nick. How do I look, baby? Nick's eyes glazed over. You look amazing. And compared to your wife? She pressed. Nick hesitated. Every age has its own beauty, Mom, but yeah, you've got it. The staff in the shop went silent. Mom giggled like a schoolgirl. Whether she's got it or not, Dee snapped. There are some things you don't flaunt. Mom slapped her. Dee slapped back. They grabbed each other's hair and shrieked. Nick froze. Tina, what are you doing just standing there? He yelled. Stop them before Dee ruins her face. We've got a wedding to plan. I stood back, arms crossed. Not my problem. Don't fight. Please stop. I yelled, just loud enough to make it worse. 15 minutes later, Dad stormed in. Have you no shame? Everyone's watching. Dad was all about appearances. Mom ran to him sobbing. Your son's been brainwashed. That vixen is driving me to death. She ran toward the wall like she meant to bash her skull in. In my past life, I would have stopped her. Coaxed her down. Made peace. This time, I watched. She wailed on the floor alone, howling. I've suffered so much. No one understands. And that was just the beginning. Chapter 2. Bargaining with the Devil. On the way home, Mom wouldn't shut up in the cab. She sobbed the entire ride, her fake lashes barely hanging on. Tina, honey, Do you know how hard life has been for me? This family would have fallen apart without me. You have to stand by me." I nodded like the perfect daughter. "I raised you, didn't I? Now it's your turn to give back. Stop thinking about yourself all the time. Speaking of which, you're still short a few thousand in your dowry. I've decided. You're going to marry that young master from the Sutton family. If you land that marriage, I'll finally have status. Even your dad wouldn't dare disrespect me then." My mind went blank. The Sutton heir? Travis Sutton? In my past life, Mom forced me to marry him. He had a rap sheet longer than a CVS receipt. Abusive, arrogant, and deep in the closet. He bounced between sleeping with twinks and elderly women with money. After we got married, I was beaten almost every night. I thought if I collected enough evidence, I could take him to court and get divorced. But when Mom found out what I was planning, she locked me in my room for 3 days and burned every shred of proof. "No daughter of mine's getting divorced," she said. "You're my golden goose. So long as you're in the Sutton family, I'll never run out of money." That's when it hit me. I was never her daughter, just a tool. "Mom," I said sweetly, "if Dad's going to cheat on you and ignore your feelings, maybe you shouldn't care about his—" She blinked, surprised. I had the cab detour to Euphoria, the biggest nightclub in West Haven. Her eyes lit up when she saw the glowing doors. "Sweetie, I'm way too old for this kind of place." "Nonsense," I said, pulling her in. "You look amazing. People might think we're sisters." She giggled, shaking her hips in those 5-inch heels like a tipsy Kardashian. But the moment we stepped inside, she turned to me with a serious look. "Tina, if anyone asks, I'm your older sister. Got it? Don't you dare call me Mom in there." I caught on instantly. She was still hoping to flirt her way into a sugar daddy. "Don't worry," I laughed. "You're gonna shine tonight. But you," she warned, "better stay put. You've still got to marry that Sutton boy. Don't mess around." "Oh, I wouldn't." I guided her right to the dance floor, where I spotted him, Travis Sutton in the flesh. This man who'd once made my life hell. Who beat me, humiliated me, cheated on me. Time for a little poetic justice. I shoved Mom, Linda, straight into his arms. "Ah!" she yelped as she stumbled into his chest. Travis caught her with practiced sleaze, his fingers already brushing her thigh. "Tough day, gorgeous?" She flushed bright red, eyes wide. "Yeah, home drama. You here alone?" He grinned wider. "Let's have a drink. I've got a VIP booth in the back." She turned, as if to ask for my opinion. But I was already gone. I crouched by the booth window, snapping a pic of them cuddling up close. Perfect. That photo would come in handy. About 30 minutes later, I crept toward the booth. 2 bulky guys were guarding the door. Travis was always paranoid, especially when drugging women. I knew his game too well. Revenge takes time. This was just step 1. That night, while taking a cab home, I scrolled through social media, only to freeze at a familiar image. Someone had uploaded a photo from the bridal shop earlier that day. I was in it, holding the wedding gown. My face wasn't visible, but the dress was unmistakably mine, custom made, one of a kind. The caption? Sister-in-law trying on the bride's wedding gown. Yikes. Some women really think their brother is their boyfriend. The comments made my blood pressure hit 180. Bet she'll be giving live commentary on their wedding night. Imagine being married and still fighting your mother-in-law for your husband. Why does this remind me of those step-sibling videos? The internet had figured out who I was, through the dress. Turns out the tailor had secretly posted my custom order process online to show off their work. As the post went viral, my company's PR account got flooded with hate. Within a day, I was fired. Humiliated and furious, I stormed back to our crumbling 600 square feet apartment. All 5 of us still lived there, now with Dee, my brother's wife, crammed into the chaos. From outside, I heard her voice. "Mom, I'm sorry. I realize now I was wrong. As the daughter-in-law, I'll listen to everything you say from now on. You were only sleeping between us at night to make sure Nick didn't catch a cold. You care more than anyone." Mom hummed smugly. "That's right. I've eaten more salt than you've eaten rice. I know what's best. And don't think I'm going to let Tina have that condo without paying her dues. She owes us for raising her." Outside, I shook with rage. So that's why they freaked when I tried to buy my own apartment, because they'd already planned to use my place as my brother's wedding house. I walked inside like nothing had happened. Mom limped out of the bedroom, her neck covered in bruises, some looking suspiciously like hickeys. "Mom, Are you okay? I gasped loudly, drawing everyone's attention. Your neck. Did you have an allergic reaction? Let me take you to the doctor. Dad had just walked in. He stared at Mom's neck and bruised legs. Tina, what are you talking about? She snapped. We don't have money for a doctor. Not like you, flaunting your cash on custom clothes. I have to save every penny just to keep this family afloat. I looked heartbroken. You're the glue of this house, Mom. We'd fall apart without you. She ate it up. Dad, however, dragged her into the bedroom. Soon, we heard yelling, glass shattering, fists flying. You called me a cheater yesterday, and you go off with another man the next day? Shut up. If I had a man, I'd have left you years ago, you spineless loser. He beat her hard this time. I turned on music to drown out the sounds of their brawl. Half an hour later, she crawled out with a swollen face. I helped her to the couch, applying ointment, cooing sympathy, just like the obedient daughter I used to be. Only this time, I smiled to myself. This was just the beginning. Chapter 3, Dirty Secrets and Designer Lies. Back when I was still naive, I used to beg Mom to divorce Dad after he beat her. But she always said the same thing. Who doesn't suffer through marriage? He only hits me. In everything else, I call the shots. That's good enough. But then, she wouldn't let me divorce Travis Sutton either. Because if she had to suffer, I had to suffer too. Maybe that's why she poured all her twisted love into my brother Nick, trying to turn him into the man she wished Dad had been. That night, as she cried about her bruises, I did something different. I opened a private social media account and started recording. Every late-night massage she gave Nick caught on video. Her baby voice cooing my sweet boy as she rubbed lotion on his back. Audio clipped and saved. The time she crawled into bed between him and Dee again, documented. Every line crossed between a mother and her son, archived. At first, no one cared. My account was just another anonymous gossip page in a sea of toxic family drama. But the videos were grainy enough, the faces blurry enough, that people got curious. Who were these people? The internet smelled scandal. At dinner the next night, Mom had recovered just enough to lecture me. Tina, you're not getting any younger. A woman without a husband is a failure. Travis Sutton is a good match. Nick's already getting the condo, so stop fussing. Same as last time. She was dead set on marrying me off to Travis. And this time, she dragged me to a matchmaking dinner. Mom, I said innocently, it's not that I don't want to date him, but I did some research. People say Travis is violent. His ex-girlfriend's left with bruises. So what? She snapped. You're ungrateful. I fed you, raised you. Even if you knew he'd beat you, you owe it to me to marry him. Dee chimed in, smirking. Honestly, Tina, how bad could it be? You marry the guy, get hit a few times, then divorce him and take half his money. It's called strategy. I wanted to slap her. She was the one who got me fired with that viral wedding dress post. And now she dared to call it strategy? Mom nodded. That's the spirit. Tina, your brother's out there every day trying to build a future. Dee just got here, she doesn't know anything yet. You're the one I trust to manage the contractors for the new house. Don't let them cut corners. We need that place ready for Nick's wedding. I gave her my sweetest smile. Absolutely, Mom. I've been thinking, why don't I renovate the biggest bedroom in your favorite style? Nick and Dee can take the second largest and I'll just take the smallest room. Dee's face turned pale. She wanted to object, but Mom shut her down with a glare. You're such a good girl, Mom beamed. Our whole family is counting on you. Your brother may not earn much now, but he's a man. When he hits it big, he'll take care of all of us. I nodded like a true believer. Yep. Once he makes his first $1 million, we'll be rolling in it. Dee finally snapped. You're delusional. Nick's out partying every night with lowlifes. And now you're helping him get startup loans? He can't even hold a job. I gasped. Dee, how could you say that? Don't you believe in your husband? Mom joined in. Nick's a genius. He just needs a push. You, on the other hand, should stay out of his business. Let the boy fly. Dee was no match for our double act. She fell silent, clearly furious. The next day, Nick was ecstatic when he found out I'd support his business idea. I handed him a list of shady lenders. Soon he borrowed $500,000 and blew it all within 2 months. Every night he came home drunk. Every night he took it out on Dee. From the next room, I could hear her cries and pleas for help. I even locked her in to give them more privacy. Didn't you say abuse is just part of marriage? I muttered. Eventually, Dee came crying to me. begging for help. I ignored her. Then she begged Mom. But Mom was too busy fantasizing about Nick becoming a billionaire. She scolded Dee instead. Quit complaining. If you're not careful, my son will divorce you and find someone better. Plenty of women would kill for a chance with him. By the end of the month, Nick's company tanked. He lost every cent. And Dee got hit with the debt too. Creditors flooded in, freezing their accounts. Dee ran home to her parents in tears. She found me and sobbed, "Tina, please, sell the house. We need to cover the debt." I pretended to be sympathetic. "That house isn't worth much," I said sweetly. "But I know someone who can help. One of my clients is a rich heir, super well connected. I'll introduce you." "Wait, you're not scamming me again, are you? Last time, your client turned out to be a loan shark." Nick had grown wary after the first disaster. But desperation is a powerful motivator. A few days later, he came begging for that introduction. So I took him to the same nightclub, to the same man, Travis Sutton. Yep, Mom's secret lover from the week before. I even dressed Nick in a white tank top and matching thigh-high socks. Just the kind of bait Travis loved, based on my past life. The moment Travis spotted Nick across the dance floor, his eyes lit up. My brother, that idiot, didn't even realize he was being groomed. He just laughed and toasted Travis. "You're really generous, man. Throwing cash around like this? You're a legend." I snapped a photo of Travis sniffing Nick's hair like a creep and tucked my phone away. Step 2. Complete. Chapter 4. When the curtain falls. Nick was on cloud 9. He thought he'd hit the jackpot. Travis was rich, affectionate, and loaded with connections. He didn't care that the man was practically drooling over him in public. I pretended to be the proud sister. "Nick, I'm so happy for you. Your company's booming. You've got powerful friends. Just don't forget me when you make it big." He scoffed. "Please. I did this on my own. You didn't help me with anything." "Oh, right," I smiled. Silly me. What would I know? He ignored Dee completely now. As far as he was concerned, she was dead weight. Once the company started bringing in money again, she was out of sight and out of mind. But of course, I wasn't about to let that happen. I called Dee and told her everything. How Nick had a secret backer. How he was staying in a new house. How he was acting like she didn't exist. She showed up at the new place, furious. Mom was waiting at the door. "You've got some nerve coming here," she barked. "Didn't you run away when Nick got into debt? And now that he's rich again, you come crawling back? You shameless leech." "Excuse me?" Dee fired back. "I was forced to leave because your son used my credit score to take out loans in my name. Now I'm blacklisted. And by the way, I'm pregnant." That set Mom off. She slapped Dee across the face. "What makes you think I want to be a grandmother? You think popping out some bastard earns you a place in this family?" Her face twisted with envy as she glared at Dee's small baby bump. It was obvious. Mom didn't want anyone else sharing Nick's affection, especially not a child. Ever since Travis started favoring Nick, Mom had been in emotional freefall. She still texted Travis daily, begging for attention, but he never replied. Her only comfort was that Dee was gone so she could sleep next to Nick again, uninterrupted. She started asking him weird questions. "Nick, who's the most important woman in your life?" "Of course it's you, Mom. If I were drowning and Dee was too, who would you save?" "You. Always you." When he was at work, she would swing by his office to stake her claim, throwing her weight around with the new hires. She couldn't stand the thought of any woman getting close to him. Not coworkers, not assistants, not even clients. Nick began to rebel. "Can everyone please shut up for once?" He snapped one night. "Mom, I'm moving out with Dee. This place is cramped and falling apart. I'll get you a new house when I make enough money, okay? But for now, stay out of my business." Mom stared at him, betrayed. "You used to say you'd love me forever, that I'd always be your number one." Nick pulled away and left without another word. Mom collapsed on the couch, wailing. "Tina, did you hear that? He's abandoning me. I raised him, loved him, gave him everything, and now he's leaving me for her. Am I not enough? What did I do wrong?" I rubbed her back and played my part. "Mom, he's just under stress. His company's growing. We women have to support from the sidelines. He'll come back. But what if he doesn't?" "He will. And if not, you still have Dad. He still loves you." "Does he?" She sniffled. "He's never even cooked me a meal. Not once in 30 years. Are you sure?" I asked, feigning innocence. I saw him buying chicken the other day. Didn't he make you soup? She froze. Chicken? Yeah. He was at that organic market near Jefferson Street. Her face changed instantly. Furious, confused, betrayed. That bastard. He's never lifted a finger for me. Why the hell is he buying chicken now? Who's it for? She reached for her phone to call and scream at him. I quickly stopped her. Mom, wait, don't tip him off. If he's cheating, calling him now will only make him hide it better. She paused, breathing hard. It worked. She was off balance, paranoid, and desperate for allies. Mom, I said gently, you should move in with Nick and Dee for a while. Keep an eye on things. She sniffled and nodded. You're right. You're the only one who still cares. I can't lose Nick too. Perfect. I helped her pack her bags that night and shipped her straight to Nick's new place. Irony of ironies. It was the same upscale townhouse where I'd lived with Travis in my past life. The same house where I was abused, locked in, and treated like property. Mom stood outside, eyes wide. Tina, is this really Nick's house? Yep, I said. Your good little boy made it happen. Dee opened the door, visibly annoyed. Before she could speak, Mom sneered. Look at this mansion. All bought with my son's hard work, and you're the one enjoying it? Pathetic. Excuse me? Dee snapped. You don't deserve to be his wife, Mom said coldly. You're lucky he even gave you a second chance. The screaming match started instantly. I slipped out the door and into a cab. A few days later, I invited Mom to meet me at a hotel. I showed her everything. Photos of Dad and her best friend Rachel, cozying up at dinner, checking into a room, kissing. Mom's jaw dropped. She recognized Rachel instantly. That slut. Inside the hotel room, Dad stood in his boxers, looking like he'd seen a ghost. Mom went ballistic. She smacked him across the face over and over. Then she turned on Rachel. 50 and still single. I should have known you were creeping on my man. Rachel stood there smirking, clearly pleased with herself. Mom attacked her. Dad tried to pull them apart. Glass shattered. Screams echoed. By the end of it, Mom was sobbing so hard she could barely breathe. Mom, I said gently, honestly, you picked Dad. You saw something in him once. That just proves your taste was good. She glared at me, too wrecked to argue. Dad took Rachel to the hospital and then filed for divorce. But Mom wouldn't let him go that easily. You two better pray I don't catch you together again, she hissed. But she'd lost everything. Nick, Travis, and now Dad. And I wasn't done yet. Chapter 5. Incest, Lies, and Hidden Cameras. Now it was time to deal with Nick and Travis. I hired a private investigator to track them. According to the reports, they often snuck away together, usually to remote parks or shady motels. One afternoon, under the blazing West Haven sun, I drove Mom and Dee through a scenic park, pretending we were going shopping. Dee, heavily pregnant now, fanned herself in the back seat. Tina, can you drive faster? It's so hot. Suddenly, she squinted ahead. Wait, Tina, is that Nick? Sure enough, in the tall grass ahead, we saw him. Bent over, rhythmically moving. Dee's jaw dropped. Oh my God. Mom leaned forward, and then she saw it too. Travis Sutton was lying beneath Nick, shirtless, grinning. Nick's eyes were closed in bliss, breathing heavily. Neither of them noticed us. Dee let out a high-pitched scream and fainted on the spot. Mom stared for another 3 seconds before she collapsed too. The two men scrambled to pull up their pants and call 911. I calmly joined them at the hospital. Dee had miscarried from the emotional shock. Mom lay in a daze, muttering, my son, over and over. Dad finally arrived at the ER. He took one look at Nick's chart and said coolly, well, that explains a lot. Mom snapped out of it just long enough to grab an IV drip stand and bash him in the head. Back to the ICU he went. After everything that happened, Mom finally came to a conclusion. This was all my fault. Everything started going to hell when you came back, she hissed. You're a curse, Tina. A damn jinx. She threw me out of the house. But that was fine. I didn't need to be there anymore. I had a better plan. Dad recovered from the beating, but his patience had run out. Dee had already told him everything. About Nick's affair with Travis, about the debt, the humiliation. He announced that he was cutting Nick off completely. Meanwhile, I opened up my anonymous blog again. The videos I'd taken of Mom and Nick, the creepy bedtime routines, the massages, the too close cuddles, they were going viral. And now I accidentally leaked one with Nick's full face visible. Boom. Within hours, internet detectives linked him to his company. Social media exploded. People dug up everything. His loans, his failed startup, his connection to Travis. It was a PR disaster. Dee, furious and vindictive, joined in. She posted photos of Nick and Travis from that day in the park. Blurry but unmistakable. To top it off, I anonymously uploaded a photo of Mom and Travis kissing. That post exploded. Suddenly, everyone knew. Our family had become the scandal of the year. Neighbors, co-workers, even random strangers whispered behind our backs. Dad stared at his phone, pale as a ghost. "When did you find out all this?" he asked me. I put on my best sad face. "Dad, I didn't know how to talk about it, so I recorded everything. I didn't want to hurt you. But now, maybe it's time you and Mom got that divorce. You deserve better. Like, I don't know, Aunt Rachel?" His expression darkened. I added softly, "Oh, and Mom used to say Travis only did it because you couldn't satisfy her. That's why she turned to Nick." There was a long silence. From that day on, Dad started coming home more often. Not to fight, just to watch. A few days later, Nick called me. "Tina, it was you, wasn't it? You're the one who posted those videos." "What? No way. You think I'd do that to you?" I gasped. "Didn't you see? One of those photos came from my dash cam. Dee took it when she borrowed my car." I could hear him breathing heavily. He didn't know what to believe. Soon after, Dad organized a family hike. He said he wanted to clear the air. That was exactly how they lured me to the mountain in my past life. But this time, I didn't fall for it. I went to a different mountain, armed with a zoom lens and a burner phone. From a distance, I watched Dad and Mom laugh as they strolled along a narrow cliff path. Then suddenly, he shoved her. Hard. She tumbled over the edge without a sound. "Bitch," he muttered. "You called me a cheater when you were sleeping with our own son and screwing that punk pretty boy?" He didn't know I caught it all on camera. Nick and Dee were a few steps behind, having no idea what just happened. Dad said he was gathering firewood, told Dee to wait. Then he led Nick to the same cliff. I thought he was about to push Nick too, but they just stood there, whispering. Then I got a text from Dad. "Tina, enjoying the view from the other hill?" My blood ran cold. He'd seen me. I lied. "Got lost earlier and ended up over here. Didn't see anything?" "Good," he replied. And then he disappeared into the trees. I panicked and called the cops. "Hi, I'd like to report a murder. My father just pushed my mother off a cliff. My brother was there too. I think they're coming for me." Silence. Then the call disconnected. I bolted through the woods to Dee. She jumped when she saw me. "Tina, what the hell are you?" I clamped a hand over her mouth. "Shh," I whispered. "You're already involved." I showed her the video on my phone. Her eyes went wide. "Oh my God. Oh my God. I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything." "Too late," I said gently. "Now we're on the same sinking ship. If they find out you know, they'll come for you too." The rain had made muddy prints everywhere. I knew Dad would track me. Sure enough, he followed my trail. "Tina," he said when I stepped out from behind a tree, "you planned all this, didn't you? If you delete the footage, we'll pretend this never happened." Too late. The cops arrived behind him. I handed over the phone. Chapter 6. Justice served cold. Dad was sentenced to death. The night before his execution, I paid him a visit. He looked up through the glass, face pale and bruised from prison fights, and picked up the phone. "Tina," he muttered. "You did all this." I smiled gently. "I once had a dream. In it, you and Mom and Nick lured me to a cliff and forced me to jump." He stared. I decided then, in that dream, I'd never let it happen again. So I planned, every step, one by one. You all had your turn. He slammed a fist against the partition, trying to reach me. But the thick glass held strong. He hit it so hard, his forehead bounced back with a thud. I left the prison that night smiling. Outside, the sky was cloudless. I still had unfinished business with Nick. After Mom's death and Dad's arrest, Nick fell apart. The golden boy of the family was now being chased by creditors, hounded by reporters, and smeared all over the internet. So I did him a favor. I got Dee to sign off on having him committed to a psychiatric hospital. He was already halfway there, talking to walls, breaking down in public, screaming at ghosts. A padded room was a kindness. Dee didn't argue. Her body was falling apart too. After the miscarriage, the stress, the humiliation, she gave up. Now she burned incense and chanted mantras all day. Her eyes were dull, her hair greasy. But she was alive. That was enough. As for Travis Sutton, his empire collapsed overnight. Once the videos leaked, first the ones with Mom, then Nick, then the park incident, it was over. His company's stock plummeted. Brand sponsors pulled out. Nightclub friends he used to party with ghosted him. The glitter, the cash, the clout, it all evaporated. Now he was a cautionary tale on forums titled, "When Horny Nepo Babies Self-Destruct." And me? I bought my own house. Decorated it exactly how I wanted. Sleek mid-century modern with matte black fixtures, a walk-in closet, and a rainfall shower no one else was allowed to use. Every day, I woke up to bird song and sunlight. I brewed my own coffee. I watered my succulents. I filed my nails. No one hit me. No one demanded I sacrifice anything. No one screamed at me to marry for money or stay quiet for the sake of family. For the first time in both my lives, I was free. The end.